How do you relate being data-centric to your real everyday life? Let's ask Jason Hoffman.
Road is a network, a car is compute, and your child in the back seat is your data.
We're on to word number 4 in our series of concepts to be a successful company. Ericsson's head of technology for digital services has taken us through the overall concepts, then the words interplay, continuous, distributed, and now let's go deep into why data-centric is important.
Being data-centric is we have to recognize that in any technology company, you can design a thing that's really good at moving bits. It's a piece of network equipment. You can design something that's really good at computing on something, doing math. Or you can design something that's really good at caring for data, in some sort of way, shape, or form. If you go and you take a piece of network equipment and you decide that it's going to do a bunch of things with data and have a bunch of compute capabilities, network equipment tends to be so well optimized to just move bits. It's always exceptionally expensive to turn it into data and compute.
You have an analogy about driving your kid to grandma's house. Can you tell that story and where data is in that story?
I mean, the analogy there is a road is a network, a car is compute, and your child in the back seat is your data. If you wanted to pick which of those three things you fundamentally care about, then why does the whole rest of it exist? The car exists to keep your child protected and safe and to take them somewhere. The road exists so that you can safely take that car on the road, right? So we lose sight of the ideas where it's very easy to be somebody who's obsessed with making roads a certain way. And those roads may or may not be friendly for cars. Right. And then we can sit down and make cars a certain way, and they may or may not be friendly for passengers. But we can't lose sight of the idea that the thing that fundamentally matters is your child in the back seat, and then where they're going and what they're going to do when they're there.
Right. And this makes sense then to describe data-centric as an important cultural principle or cultural term, because it's not wrong to have kids be the most important.
But just think of the history of the transportation industry. Have we ever made roads that were fundamentally not safe for people? Yeah. Right. And so when you look at how should a road be constructed, what should the cars sort of basically do? The whole idea of autonomous cars, in my opinion, for example, is that as we've improved roads and as we've improved automobiles, more and more and more we get to the idea that the driver is the largest risk factor for the safety of people outside of the car and in the car. So can we replace the driver? But the goal is the same. The goal is to basically get to the point that nobody ever dies or is severely injured or has an injury that impacts their life in a way that's not good as a result of this whole system we've built, right? And even in that debate, you hear things where it's like, well, a road's got to, you know what I mean? I mean, there's this whole sort of push around that. And when you start thinking about a holistic view of sort of what you do from a technology standpoint, it is about the data. And it's very easy to get obsessed with roads and cars and everything else like that. And if you don't have the sort of fundamental thinking of what data do we have and why do we care and so on, there are technology and architectural implications to being data-centric in your thinking. And when you look at, successful, cloud companies and the like I said, they're data-centric in their thinking, data-centric in their architecture, and the things that are compelling people to go there and do it is their data. And when you look at conversations in the telecom industry that's been going on for decades, like our billing data is very valuable data, yet somehow we've never seemed to ever take advantage of it in any sort of way, shape, or form. You have to ask yourself, why is that? Okay, well, probably most of the products in the billing space don't really take that into account. Data's almost treated as exhaust versus the point. And then from a company perspective, if you think about it, I mean, it's fair to say that just from any company, companies that have proprietary access to unique data and can do a transactional business around that are companies that will survive long term.
I think it comes back again to what you earlier called the route desire. You want to get your kids safely to the destination.
Yeah. But you think about it is take whether it be a mobile phone or sort of anything else. The point's not the phone or the chip that's in the phone or the base station the chip connects to or anything else like that. The point of that is to be able to send a cute picture of your kids to their grandparents.
Right.
The point of that is to be able to call a friend and let them know that you're late to go see them, but you're still showing up. The point of that is for humans to actually connect and actually share things that's going on in their lives and hopefully enrich each other's lives as a consequence. Right? That's the point of it. And everything else is subservient to that point.
We're going to go to the action words. Next up is instrument.
The data comes from your ability to instrument everything you do. And I don't mean monitor what you do or collect a predefined metric from what you do, but the ability to truly instrument.
Jason Hoffman will explain more about instrument as we continue our series on the 7 concepts for a successful company. Thanks for listening to this cloud conversation from Ericsson. Bye for now.